Hey y'all, it's Rad Lad. Welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. I believe this is episode 6 or part 6. I'm gonna get back into it right away. I think we've come of
Leaving my
age.
hometown behind, I set out for the capital of the empire. There, I would discover my role in society.
Chapter 3 Youth. Alright. We're moving on in life. We're moving up. Can't believe we're 16. It was just like yesterday. We were like 1. Leaving home. The driver flicks the reins. The carriage slowly sways as it starts moving away from your home. You stick your head out the window and wave goodbye to your family. Nathan is running after the carriage with Thomas's younger brother in tow, tears glistening in their eyes. It hurts to leave your home behind. Ahead lies Eterna, the imperial capital. You have often read about it and heard stories from Father and Stefan. It is a city that surpasses Anazote enormously in terms of size, age, wealth, and beauty. But what is it really like? What kind of life awaits you there? What will you learn there? And where will your actions take you? You pass the old walls of Anazote. Somewhere within them is the old fortress you and Thomas built together out of old wooden planks now left to the care of your younger brothers. You two are adults now. Perhaps your fortress will crumble, now abandoned, or perhaps your brothers will continue what you started. Who knows? You look down at your hands, knuckles covered in scars from street antics, fingers stained with ink. Mother gave you a cross to wear away from home, and now you can feel its warmth against your chest. Your family counts on you, even though they all wish a different future for you, but they are behind you now, in Anazote. From this point on, only you will decide which road you will take. This is the journey you prepared for throughout your entire childhood. Ahead of you lies many years in the capital, years that will determine your fate and your place in society.
Year 1134.
Arrival in the capital. It takes a whole month to reach Eterna. You and Thomas spend the days wagging your chins and staring at the scenery as your carriage makes its way along the road and towards the next province. Soon it crosses from the familiar barren, arid lands of Magra to the stately mountains of Illyria. During one of your many stays at a roadside inn, the two of you even manage to share a whole bottle of strong wine and keep it a secret from the servant who drives the carriage. Keeping a secret's crazy. Adult life feels positively intoxicating. No wonder, man, you're drunk off your ass. Soon, I'll tell you. Soon we'll be there. And I'll learn my sword as soon as I get accepted into the military academy. You'll see. And then nobody's gonna walk all over me like I'm some commoner. My voice has gotten deeper because I'm 16. You keep rehearsing everything they taught you in school. Soon you are almost at the end of your long journey. You have left behind the arid rocks of Megra, the mountains of Illyria, and the flooded meadows of Archnia. Eterna, the capital, is right ahead. Situated at the junction between Regleta and Telrina rivers, the city is vast. 3 majestic stone bridges keep its 3 shores interconnected. Smooth stone paves the main city streets. Gilded moldings decorate the buildings. Towering pillars reach high into the sky. Your carriage takes you past a spacious park with marble fountains and intricately trimmed bushes. On the streets, you see ornately decorated carriages bearing Arcanian coats of arms, and abundant merchants' tents filling the streets with beckoning cries and unusual sights. The spires of ancient temples dot the city skyline. The carriage comes to a halt on a large city square with a towering marble fountain. The coachman says you have arrived. Thomas is to apply to the military academy. The academy barracks are 2 streets away. Your lodging house is in the alleyway nearby. A room has already been reserved for you. You get out onto the street and say brief goodbyes to each other. You promise to meet again after the entrance exams. And your friend disappears into the crowded streets of the capital. You are left to your own devices in this vast city. A group of nobles walk past. They are dressed in well-fitted clothing, decorated with gems and golden thread. You are not even noticed. Street urchins chase a dog down the alley. Soldiers of the Imperial Legion are marching to fifes and drums towards the barracks. Humble pilgrims are gathering to the great temple of the twins. There are the sounds of music and fountains, and the smells of baked bread and garbage drains. You quickly check in at the lodging house, then go back outside. The sun is setting. The streetlights come to life. Merry music fills the taverns. Couples and noble coaches with tinted windows fill the streets. Shadows and hushed voices and laughter fill the parks. You are all alone with this city, so vast and unfamiliar. You take a look around, determined to fill your first night in the capital with memories. You see young nobles gathered by the fountain, talking and making jokes excitedly. One of them keeps glancing at the clock tower. They are about your age. Their clothes are hand-tailored, and two of them bear noble swords. They seem to be waiting for something. It might be a good idea to make their acquaintance. It would be most helpful to develop a familiarity with influential nobles of the capital. Loud music from a large establishment on the corner distracts you for a moment. The servants have just opened the shutters to air out the hall. It seems there will be a gathering inside. People from various estates greet each other as they take their seats. A servant by the door of the establishment hails you. Sir Gert Arkwright will be making a speech about the rights of the common estate. If you wish to listen, you'd better get inside quickly. Then you look at the great temple of the twins. At the far end of the street, the pillar shines in the evening dusk above it. The temple gates are open. The worshippers are flocking inside. There are too many people for an ordinary service. This must be something important. What do they preach here in the capital? What do they say of the new faith and the teachings of the Patriarch Fotis? You snap out of your reverie when you hear a loud laughter. A group of young men dressed in the colors of the Imperial College have made the acquaintance of several lovely girls. They are making their way down the road, united by merriment. One of the girls smiles at you. It is an invitation to join them. They turn the corner and walk away, but you can still hear their voices ringing and echoing through the street. A night of revelry and jolly, loud fun doesn't sound half bad. This is your first night in Eterna. No matter what you choose, you will remember it for a long time to come. You approach the young nobles and introduce yourself tactfully. Your father, a judge, has sent you here to study, you explain. Would they mind showing you around the capital? The nobles eye you uncertainly and whisper to each other. You prepare to face their rejection, but to your surprise, they agree. When the clock tower strikes 8, your new acquaintances proceed to a rich house not too far away. Candlelight fills the halls before you, reflected in abundant mirrors and gilded picture frames. Manservants bring drinks and refreshments to every guest. There are the sounds of music and laughter and small talk. Here and there you see couples dancing to the music. It appears you have made it to a small noble party. The nobles are gathered in groups. You take the time to get introduced to each of them and join in their small talk. Some discuss their studies at the college, while others relay fresh gossip. Have you heard that a Melandis carriage has seen in the city the other day? You mention how you once encountered Octavia Melandis, daughter and heiress to the Archduke of Megra, at a square in Enizote. These words draw a small crowd. The Melanitis dynasty rarely, if ever, visits Terna. They say it is the only house that can stand its ground against the Imperial Tempest dynasty. One young man even allows himself a little joke. They say the great Arctian houses turn to a Melanitis only when a tempest needs to be refused. After all, only the Melanitis dynasty still knows how to say no. But there is more. It turns out all humans owe the Melanitis dynasty for their foray into nobility. Jar Melanitis was the Archdean who opened the first college, and its graduates were the first to be ennobled by the mantle. To feed and nourish their barren land, the Dukes of Megra took the industry and began adopting innovative industrial and social practices. The dynasty's motto is remembrance and majesty, but strife and change would suit them better. Then the nobles start discussing the other great Archnean dynasties. The Tempest dynasty is the first of the first, naturally, marked by the twins anointed to rule. All Tempests are known for their sincerity, often bordering on a volatile temper. Yet it is this very passion that has led them throughout history. The Tempests have been chosen by the gods to rule the empire. The Diamant dynasty are the main supporters of the emperor's family. Honor personified, the Diamonds preside at the Archnean courts of honor that remain throughout the empire in spite of the public taboo. These courts hold more sway over the laws and lives of the nobility than imperial edicts or prefectural authorities. Some mention Patriarch Junius Diamant, the black sheep of his own dynasty. He preaches the new faith that rejects the lots and stirs the minds of the common folk. The Orgriff dynasty is another noble bloodline favored by the emperor. They zealously advocate the twins' faith and seek the empire as the union between heaven and earth. Every year, the Orgriffs donate enough funds to build new temples across the empire. The Monrogue dynasty is an ancient and controversial name. The Monrogues often speak in favor of removing humans from nobility, restoring nobility as a solely Archnean privilege, and returning all human-manned offices in the empire to the Archneans. Many gossipers accuse the Monrogues of plotting against the rule of the Tempest to bring back the old Archnean Republic and the joint rule of the great Archnean dynasties as it existed long before the emperors first came to be. The discussion of courtly affairs and noble dynasties soon gives way to cultured entertainment. Expensive wine flows like water. You, too, ask a couple noble ladies to dance and show your skill. You return to your lodging room in the small hours of the night with just enough strength left to undress before your aching head and feet make you collapse. I think that's me. For the first time in your life, you have mingled with a noble crowd of your own, without your family's aid. Diplomacy, manipulation, willpower. You arrived in Eterna, the ancient capital of the blessed Archnean Empire. You have spent the last 3 days studying books, but today you decide to take a walk through these streets of Eterna. They are full of life as usual. You proceed to the square next to the lodging house. The procession of priests walk through the square. You notice that one of them holds a banner of the new faith, an open book. This is the same banner that was behind Patriarch Fotis on the day of his assassination. A crowd immediately gathers around them. Many people are looking at an icon painting on a small pedestal depicting a gray-haired man with glowing green eyes. That was a mouthful. You recognize that face, the face of the late Patriarch Fotis. A man with a thick beard appears by the icon painting. His broad shoulders bear a white and gold cloak with a coat of arms of the capital province embroidered on it. He is Luke, Patriarch of Archnia. He casts his stern gaze over the crowd. I speak to all who live within the sight of the shining pillar. Exactly 1 year ago we lost Fotis, Patriarch of the Megra province, mentor of the new faith. Patriarch Fotis was the first to see the books of Istatius for nothing but the words of a man, not the words of the twins themselves. He was the first to tell people that to seek the path of the gods in their own hearts instead of blindly following the lots, to seek answer in the lives of the twins in their own hearts rather than the words of the priests. Through Patriarch Fotis, we were able to see the truth. Through his death, we saw that his words are not heresy. They are the truth that used to be obscured by Eustachius' lies. And now I bring good news. Patriarch Junius Diamant has seen to it that our teacher will be canonized as a saint. Yes, Junius Diamant, an Argnian from a great dynasty and the Patriarch of Astinia, has joined the new faith himself. And through this we hope that the entire empire will soon see that our doctrine is in the truth. We are free from the shackles of lots. We are equal before the twins. With each day, more and more people hearken to the truth. And one day the entire empire will hear our call. So let us pray, my brothers. The believers around you bow their heads in prayer and thank the twins, not for the lot they were given as they usually would, but for the chance to choose their own path. The Patriarch's sermon is inspiring. It compels your hands to meet in a sign of prayer. It compels your lips to repeat the words of the new faith. Patriarch Luke's sermon forms a cadence, and your heart beats in time with it now. You recall the murder of Patriarch Fotis a year ago. It seems more patriarchs share his doctrine now. The news of Junius Diamant joining the new faith is stunning. If an Archnian from a great dynasty has sided with Faustus' doctrine and agreed to see everyone as equals under the twins, the new faith must truly be putting down roots. But suddenly, several figures appear by the podium, figures clad in black, with glistening silver on their sides. Inquisitors, they push through the crowd and form a circle around Patriarch Luke. One of these priests rises before the crowd. He is clean-shaven, tall, with chiseled features. Everyone falls silent at the sight of him. The Inquisitor speaks with a booming voice that can be heard by all. I am Father Ulrich. In the name of the twins and by my right as an Inquisitor, I order you to turn around and leave. The words you're hearing are full of lies. Patriarch Luke has set out to poison our hearts and minds, and the Inquisition will not allow this heresy to spread. The only truth path in life is the will of the twins. Life offers us no other choice. You are hereby ordered to disperse at once. Most people leave the square immediately. Few want to get involved with the Inquisition. Some people stay, however, and some even shout angrily, "We want to listen to Luke. He is the Patriarch of Argnia, and he has more to say. Get away from our sermon, old believers. We will not listen to the old, honorary lies about the lots." Inquisitors, bring those who may yet listen back to their lots, and leave the others to the champions of faith. The black-clad Inquisitors descend from the podium and approach the people who stay. With nothing but their words, they make people who stop shouting and start listening. The uproar ceases quickly. They have dissected the crowd, split it in smaller groups that surround each Inquisitor. One of these Inquisitors chooses to approach you. He's a humble-looking man, of age, with a rough haircut. He looks you straight in the eye as his lively, soulful voice forces you to listen to his words despite yourself. My name is Father Jeremiah. I know your thoughts were stirred by the Patriarch's words. You are not sure whom to trust, but I teach at the seminary. I have been studying the teachings of the twins my entire life. You can trust me. I know you can hear what I have to say. I see their light in your eyes, the light of the true faith. Will you listen to my counsel, son? You feel no malice in the words of the Inquisitor, Jeremiah, only hope. It is his lot to aid you, to guide you away from error and set you on the path of the true faith. He is a priest, so he should know the truth. Or perhaps the Inquisitor himself is in the wrong. You strike a pose of authority and eye Father Jeremiah sharply. Inquisitors cannot order people around, you say. It is not within the lot of the clergy. Only nobles can give you orders. The other commoners look at you in terror. You have justified an Inquisitor. However, Father Jeremiah still looks at you without any anger you had expected. My son, your words do indeed contain a germ of truth. I am an inquisitor of the clergy, and by the will of the twins I cannot give you any orders. But know this, the Inquisition does not imprison everyone suspected of heresy. We exist to protect souls, to guide and save them. We pursue dangerous doctrines and seek to rescue every soul we meet. Arrest or execution is our last resort, reserved only for sinners beyond redemption. You can see that I am merely speaking to you right now. I have not resorted to force, nor am I giving you any orders. But if the need arises, I will summon the champions of faith, nobles who will be there to give orders and punish those who defy the church. But as long as you are not calling for the overthrow of faith, you are safe from them. And as you said, it is not within my lot to give you orders. You are free to go, but expect no mercy in the hereafter, for after we die, there will be none. With a bitter smile, the Inquisitor leaves you and proceeds further. You leave the square freely, your dignity preserved. The remaining people in the square continue arguing with the other Inquisitors. Armed champions of faith stand nearby, but they do not intervene. Luke and his retinue can no longer be seen. Only one thing keeps nagging at you, Father Jeremiah's words about how there will be no mercy in the hereafter. Patriarch Luke's sermons have converted many commoners and nobles of the mantle to the new faith. There are now several temples in Eterna that follow the new canons, with Luke's blessings. This has led to no small amount of anger among the followers of the old faith. Two mighty bishops of the church lead the new faith. One of them is Luke, the Patriarch of Archnia himself, spiritual mentor of the capital province. He preaches all across Archnia, his every sermon adding to New Faith's flock. The other leader of the New Faith is Patriarch Junius Diamant. Hailing from a great Archnean dynasty, he is the de facto ruler of the Justinia province. Adored by his subjects, he has founded the Holy Order anew. Junius Diamant rarely preaches, but people believe the Justinian Patriarch attends to the needs of all who convert to the new faith. The schism within the church is growing. The split has furthered the divide between the commoners and the nobles, though thankfully there has been no direct conflict as of yet. But it has become clear that there is no way to stop the steady advance of the new faith. Born from the death of Patriarch Fotis, it grows stronger by the day. Okay. The city that never sleeps. The next few days pass by in hard work and preparation for the coming entrance exams at the Imperial College. You grow more and more exhausted with each passing day, so much so that one night you fall asleep while studying another book. When you finally come to, you decide it is high time to get some recreation outside. The city of Eterna amazes you as you stroll through its splendid streets. It is another night, a different night, yet the city is still beautiful. The shining pillar is a slice of light against the dark night sky. The lamps on the facades of the buildings are lit. Night descends on the capital. You don't feel like going back to your books tonight. Recently you made the acquaintance of several young men. They are children of nobles of the mantle, just like you, sent to the capital to earn their noble titles at their college. You decide to seek them out. Your new friends are having a late dinner on the next street over, loudly discussing their plans for the night. Some speak eagerly of a dueling club where you can see the most skilled and ardent duelers in the Empire doing what they do best. You have never seen professional duelers fight, and must be far more exciting than Father's fencing lessons or that fight in the ruins of Nanazode. And if luck favors you, perhaps you can even make useful contacts among the noble families in the capital. The others try to convince the rest to take a trip to a certain secret salon. The establishment is expecting a guest tonight, they say, a young lady who speaks about the true state of affairs in the Empire. There are many questions about the nature of the place and identity of the mysterious speaker, but the young men have only one answer. They are forbidden to speak about this outside of the club. However, they say they can take you there as long as you aren't afraid to learn a dangerous truth. There are others still, drinking their fill of wine rather than eating. Fencing, they say. Speeches. Nonsense. The place you ought to go tonight, they claim, is the Marquian Society, a gathering for those of common estate but uncommon opinions that offer pleasures for everyone. Pleasures of the palate. Pleasures of drink. Pleasures of the flesh. Pleasures of the flesh. I can't speak. Pleasures of the flesh. Is this not hearsay and a crime? Perhaps, and yet some of your newfound friends are eager to go there. In the night, your group splits in 3 to spend the night as they see fit. What will it be? A contest featuring the best fencers in Eterna, an establishment both mysterious and dangerous, or an encounter with people who defy their lot with audacity? You weigh your options. You march down the street towards the dueling club, which is located in a manor house decorated rather modestly on the outside, but lavishly on the inside. One of your newfound friends nods to the servants, and they let you in. The rooms are stuffy, noisy, and filled with tobacco smoke. The sitting room is enormous. In the center is an arena, a circle with wooden railings. 2 young nobles are fighting there already. You take a glass of wine from a servant and watch the fight from one of the many soft chairs. You cannot bear a sword yet, but nobody says you cannot watch. As soon as a dueler is wounded, the fight ends, but the way they fight still makes the audience gasp and scream in awe. When a dueler is too slow to dodge, the duel ends with a bright red line cut through his sweat-soaked white shirt. The thin fencing swords cut through the air so quickly you only see glints of flashing steel, like lightning in a storm. You do your best to remember all the feints and tricks you see tonight. It will come in handy when you earn your own sword. But then a tall young Archnean enters the room. He barges in from behind you and leaps into the arena between the 2 fencers, thus ending the duel. He bears a coat of arms with a griffin. This Archnean hails from the great dynasty of Orgriff. The Archnean's voice booms as he challenges everyone in the audience to a duel. He sneers smugly. If you consider yourself nobles, then how about you face an Archnean lord in honorable combat? No one moves, no one dares to step forth. A duel with an Archnean is suicide, especially if that Archnean hails from one of the great dynasties. Such a duel will end in a lesser death at best, or with a true death through his trial and execution at worst. Everyone knows the punishment for spilling blue blood, and so everyone remains silent. The Archnean grins. So humans are cowards, he says. You will never be true nobles if you are never ready to risk a lesser death. Then Archnean honor and tradition is not for you, and war is not your domain either, for human nobles are but a mockery, a gathering of animals dressed to resemble higher beings. A man leaps onto the arena. He is tall as a tree. His pock-marked face is white with rage and covered in scars. There are whispers of reverence in the audience. This is Marth Ferasti, the owner of the club. He has accepted the challenge for the honor of all human nobles. He has yearned to fight an Archnean all his life. Now is his chance. The duelers salute each other, and Sir Ferasti begins the attack. A lunge, a jab, another, and then another. The young Archnean deflects each attack like he knows his opponent's every move. Sir Ferasti's eyes twitch with tension. The owner of the club lunges again, but the Archnean deflects his sword and rips the weapon out of the human's hands. Marth Ferasti looks at the Archnean in confusion, then bows his head in recognition of his defeat. The Orgriff youth flashes a proud, superior grin. His fencing sword lifts the sleeve of his defeated opponent. It bears 3 black marks of lesser death. Now the young Archnean eyes Sir Ferasti with a mockery of sadness and compassion. Why, it appears the poor, overeager ex-commoner is on his last life. Ferasti shudders. He asks the Orgriff youth to be so kind as to spare his life. Nobleman to a nobleman. The Archnean's face grows dark and grim. His sword stabs deep into Ferasti's chest. Then the Orgriff youth speaks, loud enough for everyone to hear. He is the only noble in this hall, he says, and everyone who saw this must forget the dueling club ever existed and leave this place never to return. The nobles scowl, dress reluctantly, and leave with a quiet resentment. No one dares to defy the Archean openly. The noble gathering disperses outside. You return to your lodging house, lost in thought. Archeans stand far above humans. They do not care if you are a commoner or a high-ranking noble. In their eyes, you are only a human. It seems there is nothing that can readily oppose Archean power. They are the masters of this world, and humans are pale reflections of them at best. The trip to the dueling club ended on a grim note, but you learned a lot from watching Eterna's best duelers in actions. You recall their lunges and blocks before you sleep, rather than the master of the dueling club being murdered in cold blood. Yeah, 1135. You are on your way to the largest library in Eterna to study for your entry exams. It is right next to the college. The streets are full of people. Everybody is excited. You hesitate for a few seconds, then let your curiosity get the better of you. You head towards the place where you will soon study. Before long, you hear the shouting. The great chancellor is about to give a speech about the future of the empire. You cannot possibly miss this. You mix with the crowd and soon find a convenient place to listen and watch what is about to unfold. On the steps of the college, you see a small tribune guarded by two Archeans armed with swords. This is the first time you've ever seen an Archean standing guard, let alone two of them. The doors of the college open and reveal a stately Archean surrounded by an honor guard. It is he, Cornelius Tempest, great chancellor of the empire, younger brother to the emperor himself. He heads for the tribune and casts a look over the square. It is full of people in awe and utter silence. Long ago, humans witnessed the Archeans' arrival. The two nations built the empire side by side. The provinces joined us one by one, and Megra was the final province to attain and the absolute might and majesty of the blessed Archean Empire. Yet there was another great event long before that. 1,000 years ago, the twins had graced us with their presence. With their arrival, the twins granted us their will. They showed us their love and their law, and they granted us knowledge of what awaits us in the hereafter. They chose the dynasty of the Tempest to rule the empire, and from that day forth our dynasty has ruled this land, ordained by the gods themselves. However, it is our duty to the twins not to seek power for power's sake, but rather to lead the empire to further prosperity. And so the great Imperial Council is soon to review and adopt a new set of laws called the Creed. Under the Creed, all the states will be granted rights. Under the Creed, there will be one law for all Imperial citizens to obey, human or Archean, from the lowliest commoner to the Emperor himself. The strife among the estates will end. A single law will resolve all of our quarrels. Glory to the Empire! The great chancellor throws his arms in the air. The crowd murmurs and applauds in approval. Cornelius Tempest casts another look over the crowd and leaves. The crowd disperses. The sound of agitated discussion are everywhere. Is it true that the Emperor's dynasty seeks to grant equal rights to all estates? What will happen to the Empire then? It is early morning. You have been awake since sunrise studying. There is a knock at the door. It is a letter from home or a hotel servant. You open your door and freeze, stunned. Hello, Brante. Before you stands Sophia, the girl who used to live next door. She's all grown up now. She looks so different. But you would always recognize those blue eyes, no matter what. You gesture for her to come in. Sophia enters the room, glances around, and sits in an armchair. You eye the girl you used to know as you sit across from her. The young woman you see now has little in common with the girl you used to know. There is cold steel in the way she looks at things. Her hair is cut short. But what is she doing here? I can explain. I've been living in Eterna for a long time now. Ever since I ran from Azote, I heard the other day that you'd left for the capital to get into the college, so I found you, and here I am. You ask how Sophia learned about your arrival and where you were staying, but she answers your questions with an enigmatic smile. Well, we'll get to that later. Right now, I want to see how much you've changed since we last saw each other. As for me, I've changed a lot. I'm a whole different person now. You look away as you recall your previous encounter back when Sophia ran away from her Archnean master. Sophia chuckles as she continues. Would you like to know what happened next? I traveled through the entire empire all alone. I had nothing. My journey ended only when I reached this place, the capital, with all its important people and events. This is the heart of the empire. It's a place where I can make a difference. I've made friends here, found people I can truly call my family. I've even gotten an education of sorts, and I have a purpose now. I fight against injustice. I fight against the lots. I fight those who treat our lives like mud on the pavement. And no, I'm not afraid to tell you that. I came to you for a good reason. I need help. I know you. You have faith in your good heart. And besides, this is also about the Imperial College you want to enroll in. Also, I forgot that you turned me into one of the nobles, Archnean nobles. And, so I'm going to pretend to trust you. There's a scholar there by the name of Bartholomew Dextra. He teaches natural sciences at the college. Dextra is an old man, but he's quite progressive. He'll stop at nothing to advance science and acquire new knowledge. As you know, only second-generation nobles or above are allowed to teach at the college. But Dextra, he's a commoner. He forged his patent of nobility to get a position at the college. But the secret chancellery recently learned of this. Dextra is about to face true death for this forgery. But how is that justice? A man wants to teach people, and for this, they're going to take all his lives. They're going to punish him for the crime of being born in the wrong state. It's evil and obscene, and I will not stand for it. Dextra deserves to be rescued. But I don't want to put anyone in danger, so I need your help. You're from a rich family. You're almost a noble. If you help me get Dextra out of the city, nobody will suspect anything. No one will know, and the scholar will live on to continue his research elsewhere, far away from the secret chancellery. Will you help me? You feel perplexed by Sophia's sudden request. She's asking you to break imperial law and undermine the work of the secret chancellery to save the scholar. Rescuing the Dextra would be an adventure, but it would also be incredibly dangerous. And besides, Dextra is a fake noble. He resorted to lies and deceit to get his current position. How much does this matter to you? Sophia's blue eyes are studying you, waiting for your reply. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna refuse. No, you say? You are not going to help Sophia. You are not going to break any laws for her sake. You did not come to the capital for this. Dextra, a fake noble, deserves his fate. You tried to fool the law, the college, and the empire itself. Even a scientific genius must be punished for such forgery and deception. He had a paper that said he was a noble, but only a sacrament can make a person a noble. So Dextra's crime is also an affront to the gods themselves. Sophia leaps to her feet, her eyes burning with wrath, about to shine with yellow light again. You cringe involuntarily. Your law makes slaves of us all. We are born, we lie, we live, and we die, all to serve those who were born in a higher estate. Is this the order you want to protect? The fire in Sophia's eyes fades. She suddenly grows silent, then continues calmly. Then so be it. I don't blame you. It's not easy to break these chains when you've been wearing them ever since you were born. They bind you better than any magic. I hope you realize this before our great empire chews you up and spits you out. Goodbye. Sophia leaves. The door shuts behind her. You return to your books. The entrance exam is coming up, and you have to work hard if you want to achieve your goals. A few days later, a newspaper article catches your eye. Bartholomew Dextra, an elderly lecturer at the Imperial College, was arrested while attempting to escape the capital. The scholar was sentenced to breaking on the wheel and subsequent true death for forging a patent of nobility, and so the fake noble suffered in death as he was supposed to suffer in life.
I will never forget that day, for it was then that I chose the path I would walk for the rest of my life.
The three lots. There are only a few days left until the Imperial College entrance exam. History, law, theology. You spend all day reading and rereading the books you brought with you, staying at the library of Eterna for hours, sometimes until it closes. As the day of the exam approaches, your hands start shaking more and more, and finally the day comes. A clear sky hangs over Eterna today. The breeze is warm. You dress in your best outfit, a gray jacket and velvet culotte trousers. You comb your hair carefully and polish your boots until they shine. You leave the lodging house and head for the Imperial College. Your legs grow heavier with each step. Your anxiety at the fact your fate will be decided today is virtually tearing you apart. The college is a majestic building that looks not unlike a castle. In the square in front of it, you can already see several dozen people, young men, sons of nobles of the mantle, like you, waiting for the college's doors to open. Time slows to a crawl. At last, the doors open. A stately man dressed in a professor's mantle appears at the entrance. He's the dean of the college. The students to be fall silent as the dean gets ready to deliver his welcoming speech. The silence is interrupted by heavy footsteps and clanking armor. A squadron of warriors emerge near the college, led by Archean officers. Their banner bears an image of golden cranes, the noble militia of Monia Province. What are they doing here? The nobles of Monia form a circle around the college, each warrior moving quietly and precisely until a chain is formed. One of the Archeans is clad in an old-fashioned suit of armor. He is the leader of the militia. He locks the bar on the massive doors of the college into place, and proceeds to the stairs to address the crowd loudly. Commoners, before you stands egregious, I have the Monroe dynasty, Archduke of Monia. By my will, the college is hereby closed, and today's entrance exam is cancelled. Your lowly origin makes you unfit for the great honor of rendering service to the Empire, a right that ought to be available only to the hereditary nobles of the sword. The college's reputation has been tarnished. It breeds mock nobles who bear not a trace of noble blood. You belong in the lowly estate, but have forgotten your place. Cornelius Tempest and other traitors to the Empire are indulging you in defacing the institution of the nobility for their lowly interests. A noble lot for those of lowly birth. How can this be? I will not stand for this disintegration of the imperial order. Now turn away from the college this instant and return to the humble trades of your ancestors. Plow your fields, mend your boots, and work and suffer by your lot. If any of you dares to set foot upon these stairs, you will be killed at once. The students seem to meet this speech with a stunned silence. The crowd in the square is growing, however. The news of the Monian noble militia and the college's closing spreads throughout the streets like wildfire. More humans join the crowd. College students, commoners, officials who worked hard to be ennobled. Unrest grows around you. You hear people calling to rush Archduke Monroe's forces to take control of the college and defend your right to become noble. The Emperor himself gave us his right. We have to fight for it. This is a decisive moment for all of you. The old gentry has challenged you. Will you accept this challenge? In the face of this shameful, illegal act by the Archduke's forces, you may prove that all of you deserve the noble lot. You will need to break through the cordon, get inside the college, and take control of it. The nobles will never dare hurt you if your presence is strong enough. If you are ready to risk it all and fight for your right to the nobility, you will have to lead the charge. People keep coming into the square in the meantime, including students and teachers from the Divine Seminary. The lot of the clergy is to guide others to the right path. When the estates clash, the priests are bound to intervene. The seminary teachers instruct their students to form a line between the noble militia and the outraged crowd. The priests begin telling the warrior nobles and the righteous commoners to return to the preordained divine order lest they provoke the wrath of the gods. The wrath of the gods. As the priests utter these words, the crowd around you disappears. A vision appears before your eyes. The empire is ablaze. You see burning lands steeped with pain and desire or despair everywhere. You look, rivers overflowing to extinguish the burning world. You can tell that soil scorched by such fire will never bear fruit again. The God's given vision demands to be heard, demands to be prophesied to the world, but only a priest may speak to the twins and for the twins. Will you keep it inside, or will you step onto the path the twins have revealed to you? Somebody shoves you in the back, and you snap out of the vision. You turn around to see a small but decisive troop of commoners moving quickly through the crowd. They are led by Sophia. As soon as she sees you, she signals them to stop. So you're here too? Going to rush to college, are you? Can't you see it already? The laws cannot be trusted. They give you the right to study here just to throw you a bone. But when the going gets tough, your masters will take it all away. It's time for you to decide. We are lotless, and we are not putting up with this system any longer. We will fight from a new world. Are you going to come with us, or are you going to submit to them? There are students and professors locked inside the college. Who knows how long Monroe will maintain the siege? And what if they start slaughtering people? Neither group of nobles will care what happens to them. We're going inside to pull them out. Come with us if you're ready to take control of your own destiny. The tension in the square is palpable, and the situation is about to implode. Students, commoners, nobles of the mantle, followers of the new faith, all of them are there gathering their forces to move on the wall of soldiers. They expect the nobles to let them through en masse. Surely they won't start a massacre. The lotless, led by Sophia, prepare to break through the siege to rescue the people in the college, and all the while the priests preach peace to both sides of the conflict. The college is your only way to the nobility. Only you can fight for the new lot and fulfill your duty to your family. You could organize an offensive strong enough to get into the college and thus seize your lawful right to like a true nobleman. Yet the revelation about the wrath of the gods still pulses in your mind. Once revealed, this vision will take you on a different path. Standing with the priests and preaching what you have just seen, warning all of the dire danger on the path of warring estates, bringing the twins' word to the people and guiding them to salvation. Could this be your new lot? Sophia and the lotless, they expect you to join their struggle. They are waiting for you to cast off the old ways and the eternal yoke of subservience. If you choose this path, you will not change your lot, and your suffering will continue. But your suffering might just change this world. This is the moment. Your future life will be decided here and now. You get to work, recalling the books on military tactics you used to study as a boy. You call out to the students and noble or children of nobles around you and assume command. They hear you and they listen. You stand together in close formation and march towards the weakest link in the line of nobles, more people joining you along the way. A veritable phalanx of young men, armed with nothing but determination against the noblemen's swords. The noble militia readies their steel. The Archean officer in command of this section halts you and orders you to turn back. You step forward and give him your reply. These people are here to study at the college as the Emperor himself has decreed. You have every right to fulfill the imperial law, and any nobles who dare to intervene will be defying Uther Tempest II himself. The plan works. The officer hesitates when confronted with your words and your vigor. The noble militia is no longer ready to use their swords. This is your chance. You command your forces to focus their advantage in numbers for a singular push, and the militia line breaks. You reach the college gates. More people start running for the breach. The nobles get their bearings quickly enough to restore the line, but your phalanx is already inside. You waste no time and begin barricading the gate. The students who are stuck inside the college run towards you. You quickly tell them your plan. Block all the doors and windows with whatever comes to hand before Monrogue's forces can get in. If they do get in, only the twins know what they will do. One by one, all the entrances are swiftly barricaded. The riot outside the college is calm for a moment, it seems. Through an open window, you hear Monroe giving orders to his militia. The Archduke is forming a strong perimeter around the college, ready for a proper siege. Students and professors of the college go to the balcony to negotiate. You are among them. Surrender and leave this building. I am not here to kill or execute you. No loyal subjects will die by my hand. The humans boo and jeer at Monrogue's proposal. The dean himself appears in the balcony. The imperial family established the college, he claims, and he cannot defy orders given by the great Archnean Tempest dynasty. And so the college remains besieged. The noble militia stands in a circle around the building, but there are no preparations for an assault. The outrage in the square continues. You remain in control of the college for the entire day and the following night, but at sunrise the Emperor's herald arrives in the square. He brings news. The Emperor is delighted to see Archduke Monrogue in the capital, and he demands that the noble militia of Monia vacate the square and allow classes to begin at the college. The besieged college celebrates the news. This is the work of Cornelius Tempest, Great Chancellor, the Emperor's brother. He managed to convince the Emperor to order Monrogue to withdraw. Even the Archduke of Monia, the most powerful noble lord in all the empire, could not disobey a direct order from the Emperor. Still, the college would never have held out for an entire day without your phalanxes, determination, and your daring plan. You, the people of the common estate, have secured your right to study and earn the noble lot. The college is open again, and the entrance exam will take place in a few days. You aren't nervous at all this time. All the lessons at home, the books, the schooling, your own noble actions, all that work and effort has finally reached its culmination. The procedure for appointing a provincial overseer, the 5 great Archnean dynasties, the property right of all estates, you answer all these questions with ease. Hours pass, and the dean of the college reads the names of the new students to the young men gathered at the college steps. Your name is among the first. He praises what you did in defense of the college. People like you are the Emperor's future, Sir Brante, he says. Sunlight fills the college square. It feels so soft and soothing here in Eterna, not as harsh as it gets in Anazote. You watch the pillars shine in the sky as you walk down the steps of the college. You are a Brante, the 3rd judge in the family, a man who will soon join the family's noble blood tide. You have seized your right to achieve the nobleman's lot. You should write to your father now. He will be so proud of you. Like your grandfather and your father, you enroll in the Imperial College, hoping to become a judge and a nobleman of the mantle. Bonds of friendship. You return to the lodging house one last time to gather your belongings for the move to your new home. A young man dressed in the uniform of the military academy greets you by the door. It takes you a moment to recognize Thomas. Your friend locks you in an embrace. Brante, how are you? I heard about the nasty stuff that went down in the college square. Those damn gentry would do anything to keep lowborn folks under their thumb. Glad the situation resolved itself. As for me, I'm an academy cadet now. He's beaming with pride. You invite him and chat while you pack. Thomas continues to relay the news as you walk up the stairs. I made it into the top 10, can you imagine? Did pretty well in sparring and in the sciences. It was all thanks to the help you gave me back in school, in Anazote. I'll be studying the art of war now, and then it's quick march to a noble title. How about you? You tell Thomas about what happened over the past few days, and of the path you have chosen. He remains quiet as you speak. Both of you realize that you may never see each other again. You know, Brante, here's what I think. You may have your own path in life, but you're my friend. We gotta make sure our friendship lasts forever, no matter what happens to us. Here, I brought 2 brass rings. If the old tradition is to be believed, Both the rings and their wearers will always remain close to each other, no matter where fate takes them. What do you say? The two of you grew up side by side. Thomas, the audacious, hot-blooded, sharp-tongued boy who used to live next door. You can't imagine your childhood without him. But would it be right to promise him that your friendship will last forever, no matter what happens? 2 rings made of plain brass lie in his open palm. You wear these rings. If you wear these rings, you'll be bound by ties of friendship for the rest of your life. You do not take the ring, but simply pat Thomas on the shoulder. The two of you have walked side by side ever since you were children. Those years of friendship will always be there, but nobody knows what might come next. The two of you are walking different paths in life now. I make promises you may not be able to keep. For now, the two of you are friends, and that is all that matters. With a sigh, Thomas puts back the rings in his pocket. Yeah, you're right. Nobody knows what's gonna happen to us. Okay then, let's not make any promises, or big promises. But at least we got tonight, right, Brante? How about we take a walk downtown and talk about old times? You wander to the banks of the river. The breeze blowing from the bay feels cool and gentle on your face. You recall the first time the two of you fought, and your school days, and all the adventures and escapades you had. Before you know it, the sun is set. You say goodbye to each other. You do not know if you will ever meet again. Maybe that works in my favor too, because if you need something that I can't do, then I can be like, no. As soon as you are accepted into the Imperial, as soon as you're accepted in the Imperial College, you send a letter back home. The family replies quickly. Their letter arrives in under a week. Most of it is covered in your father's handwriting. I am proud of you, my son, and I believe your grandfather takes pride in you too. You have brought our family one step closer to becoming ennobled by the sword. You will make an excellent judge. I have complete faith in your intellect and your will. You shall bring glory to our family. Stefan's congratulations follow your father's. Congratulations, brother! The simple folk could only dream of what you have already achieved. You can thank father and grandfather for this opportunity, but it is, or was, you who proved yourself worthy. Once you receive your new lot, you and I will be equals at last. Then some words of praise from Mother and Nathan. I think I changed Stefan's voice.
You have brought your father much joy and made him proud, and I am witness to this. You now walk this path, all thanks to him. Yet it saddens me that you did not consider the divine seminary, where you could have dedicated your life to our gods as well as the empire itself.
You worked hard for this. We held a big feast in your honor back home. I hope you achieved all you ever wanted.
At the very end, there's a small note from your sister. Congratulations. Good luck. He already loves me as much as he can, man. Hell yeah. Aw, man. The ball. It is only a few days since you became a student at the college. Your education has barely begun when an amazing piece of news surprises all the students. Every year, Cornelius Tempest, the great chancellor and the emperor's younger brother, grants an honor to all future nobles of the mantle and invites them to a masquerade at his summer palace. The professors and lecturers instruct you to look and act to your best in order to perceive or to preserve the college's honor. They tell you more about the ball, too. All who attend it from the college must prove themselves with word or deeds to the members of the great Archnean dynasties that will be present there. This means the reputation of your home province will be at stake, too. It's time to get ready. You order a proper suit for the occasion and a mask to go with it. It looks simple, but by no means plain. You only hide your eyes. The day comes. You spend an entire morning preparing for the ball. Your fellow students give you hints about how to attach the cuffs. Keep the collar straight, and make sure your hair remains coiffed for the entire night. Soon the carriages start flocking to Cornelius Tempest's summer palace. What a mouthful. The tall, ornate outer fence surrounds a sprawling garden in full bloom. The marble-paved driveway is so wide it can accommodate 2 rows of carriages. You and your fellow students walk up the massive stairs to the front door of the palace. You seem tiny and incongruous against the background of this scenic grandeur. The Master of Ceremonies instructs all newcomers to seek their province's coats of arms. You see the banner of Magra from far away, depicting the silver tree digging its roots into the murky gray soil. Below it is a banner bearing the coat of arms and the Melanitis dynasty. It turns out students from the college were not the only ones invited to this party. You see academy cadets lined up beneath the banners too. Thomas is among them. A wide grin appears on his face when he sees you go under the banner of Magra. I just knew you'd be here today, pal. What can I say? Congratulations, student. As for me, I'm not so bad off myself, see? The military academy is father... What? The military academy is father and mother to me now. His merry speech is interrupted by a tall, proud Archnean in a heavy coat. You recognize him. He's Doris Odin, Sophia's former master. Make way for your commander's soldiery! The last time you saw Odin, he was searching the back streets of Anazote by your house for a girl servant. But now the young Archnean's uniform betrays his high standing. He is young, yet he is already the province's commander. Who put him in charge of all the military forces of Magra at such an age? What's wrong? You know him or something? A brief description of Odin is enough to wipe the smile off his face. You see no other high-ranking officials bearing the colors of Magra at this party. It seems Dorius Odin will be the main representative of your province tonight. You watch the other college students and academy cadets line up under the provincial banners. The blue and silver banner of Archnia, the emperor's own province, is in the very center of the hall. Judging by the hilts jutting out from beneath their belts, many of those who surround that banner are nobles of the sword. Thomas is clearly jealous. The group of Archnia stands proudly, ennobled by its iconic and dignified history. The Archnean race and the empire originated in their very lands. A sizable group of students stand under the banner of Monia, a wealthy agricultural province signified by yellow grains on a field of ore. The wealth of the young men beneath this banner is plain to see. Their attire is on par with the Archneans in terms of luxury, and perhaps even more vibrant in terms of color. The most numerous group at the party stands under the banner of Illyria, a yellow griffin against a field of azure. All the Illyrians are clothed in well-tailored suits with a minimum of decoration. Some of them wear gloves. Most of them come from wealthy industrial families, and it seems many of them would feel more at ease in their families' factories than a noble party like this one. 3 banners represent the northern provinces of Fiona, Hermia, and Constantia. These banners, like the group associated with them, stands together. The royal Tempest dynasties oversee all 3 of them. The students and cadets are clearly well off, yet they are dressed in modest, functional garments to honor the austere traditions of the north. And finally, the smallest of the groups is represented by an open book against Field of Argent, Astinia, homeland of the Diamant dynasty. By the order of Patriarch Junius Diamant, the open book of the new faith has been added to the banner only recently. Nearly all the young men beneath this banner are clothed in academy uniforms. They wear no adornments, but are clad impeccably with a nary button undone, the embodiment of rigor and restraint. The Master of Ceremonies signaled the beginning of the party. It is time for dancing. The first dance is minute, and tradition calls for everyone to dance. Harpsichord music fills the hall. The Academy cadets waste no time finding dance partners and soon already making the fluid first steps of the minute. You take a look around. One of the young ladies representing Magra catches your eye. She is slender, like all Archneans, and clothed in a yellow dress embroidered with emerald green, her face hidden behind a full mask, decorated with bright green feathers.
Ooh.
It's gotta be that one chick that I first fell in love with. What happens next seems unbelievable. The enigmatic lady walks towards you. The way she looks at you, the way she walks, the black eyes from behind the mask watch you closely. She tilts her head. There are no words, but you feel there is a question. Everyone in the hall is startled by a sudden noise. You look behind you. You see Thomas getting up off the floor, his face a grimace of rage. Dorius Auden stands before him, eyeing him with disgust. His arm rests on the hilt of his sword. Who allowed this clumsy commoner inside the great Chancellor's palace? Its noble masters are trying to dance, and it's getting underfoot. Thomas looks like he's about to explode in Auden's face, but the smug Archnean sword is a clear threat. If your friend's rage gets the better of him, he will end up in trouble. The enigmatic Archnean beauty, however, quickly loses all interest in their quarrel. She comes even closer to you, expecting you to invite her to dance. You turn your head towards the Archnean beauty and offer your hand, taking care not to rush your movements. A moment later, her fingers gracefully come to rest in yours. The masked lady's touch feels electric against your skin. You walk together to the center of the hall where the other couples are already dancing. You bow, and she makes a curtsy. Her hands are incredibly thin. They seem so delicate, you fear you might snap them if you squeeze too hard. You adjust to her steps, counting the rhythm of the music. Your lady for the dance is an Archnean, a noble born to rule, yet this is a dance where you must take the lead. As you walk around her, your eyes catch an embroidered ornament on the arm of her dress. You spy many thin emerald threads, all interwoven into a pattern of interlocking snakes. This young woman is Octavia Melanitis, the daughter of the Archduke of your home province. The minute ends. You bow to the lady and offer to accompany her wherever she chooses before the next dance. Yeah, this is the first love.
Why? Then be so kind as to accompany me for another dance. Why?
Why? I don't know how to do her voice. I don't know what I did before, to be honest. Before you know it, the night is almost over. Octavius will not let you go. She does not accept another invitation until she has danced with you 3 times. Damn. You spot Thomas in the crowd during a break. He catches your eye and salutes you with a wine glass. Judging from his lopsided grin, Odd must have had him removed from the dance floor. But any concern for your friend is forgotten when you see the beautiful Octavia approaching you again. Yeah, that makes sense. You gotta respect the run.
Year 1136.
You have lived another year in the capital. Eterna has been shaken by what is now known as the trial of the 50. 50 people stand trial at once, all prominent members of the several political circles. They are accused of treason and conspiracy against the crown. The accused spoke in favor of reducing the power of the nobles and granting more rights to the common estate. There was no mention of rebellion, yet those words alone were enough to indict them. Every session of the trial is open to public. It is a show of power made to discourage people from forming such circles ever again. You attend one of these sessions. The 50 face their verdict: forced labor in the mines of Megra and the Illyria for regular members, and true death for their leaders, 6 men and 1 woman. Their public execution takes place in the central square of Eterna. Is the woman Sophia? You remember the woman. Her name was Ani Sarin, not Sophia. She made a speech before execution. A young woman, not too tall, her face almost plain, with long bangs over her eyes. She looks calm, even at this moment. You cannot believe she is about to leave this world forever. Ani Sirin takes a look around before she speaks. Her voice is quiet, but you are close enough to hear every single word. She says she is happy to give her lives fighting for the rights of the people. Her cause will never die, Ani claims. Others like her will continue their work in hiding, for their cause is right and just. She's dragged away to the others. They put a sack over her head and tighten a noose around her neck. A hand yanks on the lever, and the 7 dangle in the air. Their feet tremble at first, then grow still. There are gasps and cries of discontent in the crowd. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and stay rad.